I'm just going to mute myself for right now.
Okay. Welcome to today's episode of Wizard's World. Today we are visiting the beautiful country of Costa Rica. Whether you are an adventure seeker, bird watcher, surfer, animal lover, or part-time photographer, Costa Rica has something to offer. Janine Quiller from Memorable Costa Rica will be giving us an example of what you can do if you choose to vacation in Costa Rica. Go ahead, Janine.
Okay, so I'm just going to show my face really quickly so that you know there is an actual person behind this, and then I'm going to turn my video off so that you can actually enjoy the presentation. So let me do that. And everyone can hear me. If you can't, now would be the time to like throw up your hands and let me know. Okay, so one thing to know about Costa Rica is that it is incredibly easy to get there. There's a lot of direct flights from Miami. There's some from the West Coast out of LA and LA and San Francisco. There's direct out of Houston and Atlanta. Another thing about Costa Rica is pretty much everybody in the tourism business speaks English, from most of the maids to the maintenance workers to definitely the front desk. You know, so it's not going to be a problem to get down there. And if you can't speak Spanish, there's plenty of people who can speak English, and I have never had a problem ordering anything or, you know, getting anything that I need either on or off property. When you're in Costa Rica, you don't even have to convert your money. I rarely see colones, which is the money down there. I just take my US dollars and spend those traveler's checks, you know, just $20 here and there, $5 for tips, things like that. And then their electricity's just like ours. So basically you could just pack a bag and go. So I'm going to start with the Central Valley, which most people fly into the San Jose airport. You don't necessarily stay in this area unless you're really into culture. And then sometimes I'll have people spend maybe one night just to experience the museums and the coffee plantations and the waterfalls and things that are in that area. But what I normally do, if I can, is get you out of San Jose, and I'll start somewhere, say like this Peace Lodge. Really good for families. It's built in the cloud forest. It has 3 or 4 waterfalls. It has an animal reserve. Well, I should say an animal rescue. So they have that, they rescue cats and monkeys. They don't release them back into the wild, but what they do is say, you know, if this ocelot was going, like maybe got caught in a trap or was catching a farmer's chickens or something like that, instead of putting it to death, the Peace Lodge actually has an animal rescue center that would take the cat, take care of it, and make sure that, you know, it gets to live, while at the same time you would get to see jaguars. They have monkeys, they have frogs, snakes, a bird garden, butterfly garden, and then they have these beautiful waterfalls. So this is just the layout of the property. A lot of times what I'll do too is, if say someone gets in at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I'll go ahead and transfer them over here so that the next morning they can get up, they can go do these waterfalls, they can see all the sights and then continue on their way. Or if I have somebody who gets in really early, like these direct flights from LA, and sometimes they get in around 5, 6 a.m., I'll stop here, have people do a tour of this area, have lunch, and then we'll continue on to whatever their next destination is. Another thing I'll do is take people to El Silencio, which is also a little cloud forest outside of San Jose. Normally what I do is, if I have someone who's like really busy all the time, if I have a lawyer who's always in court, or if I have a doctor who's always doing surgeries, or I have honeymooners who've just been busy, and they want to chill out and recover before they actually start doing all the activities, I'll put them here at El Silencio, because you have your own private jacuzzi, you have a king size bed, they have all kinds of activities on site, like coffee tasting, wine pairings. You can go out into the garden, pick herbs, bring them back to the bar. The bartender will teach you how, you know, to make a drink from the herbs that you've picked. They have ox cart wheel painting, all kinds of activities that you can do on site, hikes, a yoga platform. Like, I've actually done yoga on this platform. They set it up for me. They put a mat out. I had blocks. and I did yoga while some of my friends were in the spa. And I have heard, I've not experienced, but I have heard that this spa is one of the best ones that people have been to over and over and over again. Like, their spa services are phenomenal. So people go here to unwind and to just relax and to be with one another before they actually like hit the ground running. So it's just a great way to get away and decompress. Some things that you can do from this area: there's a Poas volcano that you can go hike around, not into, obviously way too hot, but around it. There's a coffee plantation. And also you can, from San Jose, do the coffee plantation, combine it with that volcano and combine it with the La Paz waterfall and make a full day tour and experience so many different things in a short amount of time. So the next area would be Tortuguero. And the reason you would go here is for the turtle nesting. So a lot of times you fly into San Jose, you spend one night, the next morning you get up, you hop on a bus, you go all the way over to the Caribbean side, you stop for breakfast along the way, and then you have a boat that picks you up and actually takes you through the canals to get you into Tortuguero. No cars, no trucks. Basically, I've never, ever seen a car in Tortuguero. Everyone walks, everyone bikes, or they take a boat to and from work. That's just how it is up there, and there's no roads. So the accommodations here are, you know, pretty rustic because you are in the middle of nowhere, but you can go in certain months and you can watch the turtles lay their eggs, and you can go in other months and you can watch the baby turtles go back into the ocean. And that is the highlight of going to this area, and completely worth it. It was one of the most phenomenal things I have ever seen. Just to show you some of the accommodations, you know, you've got ceiling fans. There's only one hotel with AC out here, but you don't need it. It is cool enough in the evenings, and then you're out all day doing tours, from chocolate tours to hiking. We went into town and we went shopping. We went out at night and we did a turtle tour. There was canal tours to see the different animals. And I'm just showing you down here on the left, like, this is how the hotels are set up. They pull the boat up, you get out, they unload your luggage, and you're taken to your room. So again, no roads. So from this area, you can continue on north to Arenal, which is probably the biggest focus that, you know, and the most activities that you're going to be able to do in Costa Rica. So you got this fantastic volcano. It's not spewing out lava anymore. It was doing it the first time I was there, but now it's actually stopped. But you've got this gorgeous volcano that you can see from pretty much everywhere. And even at some hotels, you can lay in your bed and, like, between your feet, there's the volcano. I wanted to show you this property because they have the hot springs on site. And I just want to show you, they look like swimming pools, but these are actual hot spring fed pools. So the heat from the volcano is actually heating up this water. So you've got all these health benefits and minerals in the water. And, you know, a lot of the hotels pump this water in and they make their own hot springs. And with this hotel, you have like little rocking chairs on the front porch, and you can literally sit in the rocking chairs, have a glass of wine, and the volcano is right there in front of you. I even did, again, I'm a yoga enthusiast, so I think I paid $40 for my husband and I to do an hour and a half of yoga with a private instructor, and right there was the volcano right in front of us, and no one else did yoga except just the two of us in this hotel. I also want to show you, this is the Tabacon Hot Springs, and if you ever hear about this area, I'm sure that you will hear about these hot springs. They are phenomenal. You can't get any closer to the volcano and have a place to stay or sit in the hot springs. There are waterfalls everywhere. There's this private little grottos where you could just hang out. It's a really phenomenal experience, and they even have their spa built around this area as well. And I just want to quickly show you one of the rooms there, you know, pretty minimally decorated, but the main focus here is the really good food and the hot springs. Another hotel, if I were to have couples that were going to go to this area, this is an adults, well, not completely adults only, but this is the adults only area, of the Nayara Hotel. So this hotel has won award after award after award because of its phenomenal service. I have had people cry when they left here. And, you know, even if you go to the Four Seasons after this hotel, I keep hearing that it does not compare to the Arenal Nayara. They have a yoga platform, they have sloth trails on site, they have 4 different restaurants. These rooms that are in front of this pool area are actually adults only. You can have breakfast on your veranda every day. You have a private plunge pool that's overlooking the volcano, and they just go above and beyond. So if I ever have any honeymooners, this is where I would put them. But they also have family accommodations, and this is their new tented camp. And it has a king size bed, but then they could put 2 rollaways in there so you can have a family of 4. And then these rooms actually connect if you want them to. So they can close these doors, and then these platforms don't connect, and you have 2 separate rooms. Or if you had a larger family, you could open it up, and then this right here would become one big unit. They have some small hot springs on site, and I just want to show you, like, this is what's in front of your tent. Again, you have this private plunge pool that overlooks the volcano. And the sloth trail, they actually plant the trees and the food that the sloths eat so that the sloths are on site, and there's scarlet macaws on site as well. The bathtub, the king size bed in this unit. And then we have the Springs Resort. So the first hotel I showed you was Peace Lodge. This is its sister property. Hot springs all over on site. They have some fantastic rooms, anywhere from a regular hotel room all the way up to a 5-bedroom house. They have 2 and 3 bedroom villas. So if you have a larger family, you can easily put 5 people in a room, 6 people in a room, up to 8, and then you've got this, house that can hold over 10. They do have activities on site, from river tubing to hiking, horseback riding. So if you have someone, if you are active, this is where you would want to stay, so that maybe you go out whitewater rafting, but then you can come back and do a hike on site. Or you go out and do a zip line, and then you come back and you river tube on site, so that you're not always having to leave to go to do tours. They have them available to you. Some of the reasons why you would go to Arenal other than the volcano are the zip line tours. They also have lots of waterfalls, anything from rappelling down a waterfall to hiking down to a waterfall. You can swim in the waterfalls, and I'll even show you one in just a second where you can jump from the top of a waterfall. This down here is the volcano hike, and what you do is you hike about 1 mile away from the volcano, which is as close as you are allowed to get. And when you get to the top, you have a clear view of the volcano and Lake Arenal. But this is actually a lava trail that these people are hiking on, where the volcano blew up, I believe, in like 1968 and created this trail. They have hanging bridges, which was actually really, really fun and a great way to see birds. And there were lots of waterfalls on this hike as well. And then there is this one tour called Cana Negro, which is a tour for nature lovers. So if you like to take photos, I have been on this tour twice, and both times I've had professional photographers on this tour, because you can see the monkeys. Like, this is the one tour in all of Costa Rica where I guarantee you that you'll see monkeys. At least 2 types, the howlers and the capuchin. And they come down to the water to eat, and then you can see the caiman and the bats and all other kinds of animals, but main focus is the monkeys, and get some really fantastic photos. It's also a good tour if you like to bird watch. And then here's this waterfall that I was talking about. You can jump off the waterfall. There's also kayaking. I mean, this is a really active area. So I do always try to have people go to this area before or after they go to a beach, because it's really important to be able to do the active tours that they have to offer. And again, anything from an easy hike all the way up to jumping off a waterfall and doing something crazy like that. There's also boat floating tours, so you could literally just float down the river. You have a guide. It's easier than whitewater rafting, so it's a gentle float. So kids could do this as well, and you float down the river, and you can again see animals. And then, of course, the wild whitewater rafting. So the next area is Monteverde, which is the cloud forest. And the way that you get there is by boat. So you would actually leave Arenal or leave Monteverde and go across the lake to get from one place to the other. It takes less than an hour. I was really surprised, because for years I had been telling people that it took 3 hours, but they've simplified it. It takes less than an hour. Get across the lake and you're at your hotel. It's actually a really cool experience just to even be on the lake. So the hotels here are also going to be rustic. This is one of the newer ones that's a little more contemporary, with a hiking trail on site. And then this one is one of the few that actually has a pool. And I would almost call this one a tree house. If someone, was wanting a tree house, then I would put them in this room over here. But there are no like real tree houses in this area, but a lot of people want to stay in one. So this is as close as we would get. So you would go to this area again for the hanging bridges. And I want to point out that I'm gonna back up real quick. I stayed at this hotel and I was high enough up the hill that I was in the middle of the country, but I was high enough in elevation that I could see the ocean from my hotel. So that's one cool thing about this area as well. So then you also get some fantastic sunsets. Also in this area, there's chocolate tours, lots of birding, lots of animals, and we're back to waterfalls again. So it's really easy to also get into town, and the food was fantastic. Like I had dinner in a treehouse one night. I had food at a fantastic steakhouse, and I believe from my hotel it cost me $2 by taxi to get into town. And then when you're ready to go, there's taxi stands everywhere. You just turn around and go back to your hotel. So you're not stuck at the hotel the whole time wondering, well, where am I going to eat tonight? There's plenty of things to see, plenty of places to go. So now I'm going to talk about the first beach area. So we've gone from the middle of the country up north and over to the northwest. So there is a second airport, an international airport in this area called the Liberia Airport. And this is where your major resorts are going to be, like your chain hotels, Marriott's, Westin's, your all-inclusive hotels, your Four Seasons. So if someone's just wanting to go to the beach and not really go anywhere else, this is where I put them. But again, I'm still going to try my best to get you to go into the jungle, because if you go to this part of Costa Rica, you're going to completely miss what the whole country is about, because this one area doesn't look like the rest of the country. It's flat, it's dry, it's full of palm trees. It doesn't look like anything else that you're going to see. And you can literally, if you're in the San Jose area and you're driving anywhere else, you're going to pass 6 different, like, I guess, zones. So you're going to pass like rice plantations, and you're going to pass bamboo forests. And then you're going to all of a sudden be in the jungle, and then you're going to see the volcano. So it's going to constantly be changing, and you are always going to be seeing something different. Before I begin the beaches though, sometimes people, fly into the Liberia airport and they don't want to travel all the way over to the jungle in Arenal, because it's, 3.5 hours, and they don't want to hit the ground and go for 3.5 hours from this area. So what I can do is put you in the jungle at this hotel called Rio Padre. And as you can see, it's lush, it's green, it's tropical, and they have a lot of things to do on site. So you have your room, and it can hold up to 4 people. So you can fit a family of 4, or you can have, 2 or 3 adults in a room. You have your own hammocks, and then they have a lot of activities on site. So you've got these hot springs that are tucked away in the woods. You again have adventure and, river tubing, and they have waterfall rappelling and waterfall hikes as well. So you can stay as busy as you want to be, or you could actually chill out and do nothing except, maybe do a hike, but you're in the jungle and it's only an hour from the airport. This is called Las Catalinas, which is the first beach hotel I'm going to talk about. It has everything from hotel rooms up to 4 and 5 bedroom houses. It's an intentional community. So your coffee shop is there, your grocery store, your restaurants. You shouldn't have to leave this area at all unless you're wanting to do a tour, and everything you need is here. They have a really calm beach, and I'll show you pictures of that in a moment. But what I end up doing in this hotel is like girls' getaways. Like if someone's getting married and they want to just take their girlfriends out for like, a last big hoorah, I've done a house here. I have multi-generational families where grandma and grandpa, pay for the trip, and then the entire family comes and stays at this hotel, and they've got this fantastic beach, and maybe we put them on a couple of tours. These are the houses, and then just to give you like in the interior, so a lot of them do have full-size kitchens. They're going to have laundry facilities, washers and dryers, so you don't have to pack as much. And it's a great location just to, pack and unpack once and experience the beach. Showing you more. And then on site, they have hiking trails, mountain biking trails, and then the beach. So the beach is on a bay, so it's really calm. So you're able to kayak and paddleboard. And as you can see, these little kids are playing in the water. And it's not going to be, for surfers at all. It's just going to be great for families. Now, on this same property, up on the hillside, is an adults only resort called Casa Chameleon. And people would stay here, they're on their honeymoon. So or celebrating an anniversary. So you have a king size bed. You can get down to the beach, that's in front of Las Catalinas, but you also have your own restaurants. You also have your own bars, but you can use the community that's down, in front of Las Catalinas. So you have a great expanse of beach, and you have the mountain biking and the hiking and everything that you would need. But most of the time people just come here to chill and get away from it all. So, most rooms have this little plunge pool with sunset views. And then the next hotel is the only 5-star all-inclusive, and actually one of the only, I believe it might be the only all-inclusive Westin in the world, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but I do know that it's one of the few all-inclusive Westin resorts. Excuse me. Just to show you the clear waters and the large pool area. And these rooms can be anything from, king size beds to having two double beds. They have an adults only area. It's a great location if you enjoy the all-inclusive package. Everything is top shelf. They have, 5 or 6 different restaurants, but you want to be close to surfing. You can easily get into the town of Tamarindo for the day. They have a shuttle that'll take you over there, and you can go shopping. So yes, you have the all-inclusive experience, but you're not stuck at the hotel the entire time if you don't want to be. They have a lot of things that you can do on site, like kayaking and, the exercise, aerobics and things that they have on the beach, and yoga and different pool activities. They always have something going on at the hotel. So you could stay there and have plenty to do. But a lot of times, people like this because they're not stuck there. This is the kids club. They are located on the golf course, and outside of my room, I believe I had howler monkeys at one point. They're coatimundes, which is, again, lots of wildlife on site, and then their fantastic spa. This is the beach in front of the hotel, and you will also share this with the next hotel, which is called the W. It's a brand new build, really contemporary 5-star hotel. And then they have some suites with plunge pools, and then they also like to think outside of the box. So if it's your birthday and you want a celebration, they can, set something up like this for you with the fire pits and, the outdoor dining. And they really like, I keep saying that they really like thinking outside of the box. So they have guides on site that can take you on a specialized tour for something that maybe you just want to do. Sorry. Okay. Then we're going to go into the town of Tamarindo. So you are at the Westin, which is 25 minutes away from Tamarindo. And this is a really great surfing location. So people go to this location because they like yoga. They want to be able to stay in their hotel, but then get out and walk to 30 different restaurants. This hotel is called Cala Luna. It's just been recently renovated. They have everything from, hotel rooms up to 3-bedroom villas. On the left here, we have one of their new suites. And then on the right, they have one of the villas, and they have their own private plunge pools. So you could have a family of 6 or a family of 4, king size bed, and then 2 beds in the second room that stay in one of these, and then you have your own pool. The catch is that they have a really cute pool area and a fantastic restaurant, yoga platforms, cute little sitting areas everywhere, but they are not directly on the beach. What you have to do is just walk quickly down a little sandy path, and then you're on the beach of Tamarindo. So just to show you, right up from this hotel is another hotel called Capitan Suizo, which is what you're looking at. And this is the beach that's in front of the 2 hotels. And you can actually surf during high tide on this beach. So I want to explain, like, when the high tide is in, it's all the way up almost to the tree line. And all these rocks that are out in the water, you can't see them anymore. But then as soon as low tide comes in, it pulls really far out, and it's really great to go shelling and to do that on the beach. This is the Capitan Suizo I was talking about. They have bungalows. They have a lot of monkeys on site. They are literally everywhere on site. And then they have a couple of houses that are just minutes, like steps, I should say, steps from the beach. Really sparsely decorated, but in a fantastic location where you step out of your room, take a few steps, you're right on the beach, which is a rarity in Costa Rica, because a lot of times they don't tear down the trees for the beach and to build hotels and things, because they want to avoid erosion. So they have these, there's very few hotels that can actually say that it's a bungalow on the beach, because you can't tear down the trees. So a lot of them are built on the hillside. This is one area that's pretty lucky that most of the hotels in this area are on the beach. And things that you can do in the Guanacaste area. Most of the time I would put people here who want to chill out. They like to dive. They like the all-inclusive plan. They don't plan on leaving the hotel a whole lot, but if they want to, there's turtle nesting, or there's the river tubing, or there's hot springs nearby. Most of the tours, unless it's a zip line or like a catamaran tour, are going to be full day tours, because you have to travel 2 hours to get back into the jungle to do any of these tours. So if people do go to this area, again, that's why I'm trying to get them to go into the jungle first, so that you could do all your tours. So by the time you get to the beach, you chill out, you do nothing. Maybe you do a zip line, maybe you go on a catamaran tour, but very rarely do I have someone who just spends 7 nights on the beach. In this area as well, they also have some more waterfalls. They have a nature tour where, again, you can float in the boat and go along the mangrove and see the animals. And then deep sea fishing is a big thing in this area as well. Several of the hotels up here also have golf courses, like the Westin, the Marriott, and the Four Seasons. So a lot of times I'll have guys groups that, maybe want to do sport fishing and then play golf a couple of days, or, I have multi-generational families who want to do things like this as well. Okay, so the next area is Manuel Antonio. So we're going around the country and we're almost done. So Manuel Antonio is in the Central Pacific, and this would be my favorite area out of everything in Costa Rica. And the reason is you have the jungle and you have the beach. So the first time I went here, I walked down to the beach and I was like, great, here's a beach. And I'm in North Carolina, big deal, there's a beach. The second time I went there, I made a point to spend as much time as I could on the beach. So it could be an active vacation where all you do is a lot of jungle tours, or it could be a relaxing vacation where you just chill out on the beach. So this is the Manuel Antonio Beach, and there are monkeys on the beach. In fact, you have to watch your stuff, because sometimes they'll come down from the trees and try to take your food if you've brought a picnic lunch. So the beach here is one of the lightest sands in all of Costa Rica, and it doesn't look like any other beach at all in the country. So keep in mind, this is a light sand beach. It's on one side of the peninsula, because we're also going to get to the other side of the peninsula, and then you're back to these dark sand beaches. So in this area, I'm just going to focus on 2 hotels really quickly. There is a great variety of hotels, anything from $100 a night up to $2,000 a night. So we can meet any price range that you want and any sort of feeling that you want from your hotel. This one happens to be condos. So what this is anywhere from a 2, a 3, or 4 bedroom unit built up on the hillside, and then they have a shuttle that'll take you down to the beach. That in this area of Manuel Antonio, most of the hotels are built hillside, and a lot of them do not have a beach. So what you have to do is take a shuttle down to, like most hotels have a shuttle down to the public beach, and then you just spend your time hanging out there. There's plenty of restaurants. There's actually people who also have like their arts and their crafts set up. You can get surfboards on the beach. So if you wanted to do surfing in this area, you completely can. I can also set it up where you can have surfing lessons, or if you're an experienced surfer, then I can have someone who maybe doesn't teach you, but shows you where to go to surf at the level that you can surf. Another hotel in this area is Arenal del Mar. And I'm showing you this one because it is on the beach. It's one of the very few on the beach. So the hotel's built hillside. Down at the bottom of the hill is this gorgeous beach where they have a restaurant. They have these little coves. The water is, good enough that you can kayak. No snorkeling right off the beach in Costa Rica. I should point that out. You always have to go out by boat because the water is too dark to snorkel right off the beaches. and most of the rooms here have a king size bed. They do have a few that will hold children, but without calling this an adults only hotel, because they do allow children, most of the time you're going to find adults here. And if there are children, you know, there's so few that, you know, I don't find anybody to have complained about them being loud. So with most of the rooms having a king size bed, they can bring a rollaway into this suite that I'm showing you right here. This is an ocean view suite, and they can bring it into the living room, and then you can have, you know, up to a family of 4. And they did just recently build a 2-bedroom suite for families, because they are getting more requests for that. In this area, you've got surfing, you've got zip lining, and you could pretty much do a zip line anywhere in the country. They're in every single location. You have fantastic deep sea fishing. You have this catamaran tour with snorkeling. This is the mangrove. Again, you can kayak or do a boat floating tour through this area. There's whitewater rafting. There is, there's even like these crazy dune buggy tours that they have, and there's even more waterfall rappelling. So that Manuel Antonio area is a good location if you are active and you want to do a tour in the morning and then chill on the beach in the afternoon. So if I have someone who is really active, I'll put them in this area and just load it up with tours, because there's lots of sloths and monkeys, and you're in the jungle, but you're on the beach. And so it's just the full Costa Rica experience in one location. But I'll still try to get you to go up to the Arenal volcano area, because I don't want people to miss that area, because it's so special. So now we are back to San Jose, which is where we started. And I'm just going to show you some out of the box hotels. So this is the Paquari Lodge. And the reason you would go here is because you can whitewater raft in and out of the hotel. So you stay the first night in San Jose, they pick you up, and you go towards the Paquari River. This is actually a pretty difficult river to whitewater raft, so there's no children at this hotel. Excuse me. So you whitewater raft into the hotel. Yes, your bags are on a boat, and they are being taken down this river just like you are. They're put in, you know, dry bags, and they go down the river just like you. And then you don't see your bags again until you get to your hotel room. And this is one of the rooms. The rooms at night, they run on, everything's running on a generator, because you are literally in the middle of nowhere. So at night, let's say you've gone out to dinner, when you come back, all the candles are lit in your room, and they've put the mosquito netting back around your bed, and the windows are open, and they just make it a really special experience, because they have to, they cut off most of the power in the evenings. Some things that you can do other than the whitewater rafting, because they include the meals and they include some tours and different activities while you're there other than the whitewater rafting. If you're willing to hike for a really long time, you can go to one of the indigenous villages. There's also a waterfall rappelling tour, and there's even kayaking in this area. And then you also whitewater raft out. You can take a vehicle in and out, but you miss a lot of the experience. And I had a coworker who did it one time, where he whitewater rafted in and then took the vehicle out, and wished that he had not done that, because the best whitewater rafting is when you actually leave. One last hotel is called Isla Chiquita. You would fly into San Jose. You take a ferry back over to the West Coast. They pick you up by boat, and they take you out to this private island where there are very few little tents. Everything you need is here. It's really for people who want to escape. They want to get away from it all. Wi-Fi is hit or miss, so you've got to be willing to unplug. And they have a lot of cool activities that you could do here. So you can fish, from a kayak and from a boat, snorkel, dive. This is actually a bioluminescent bay here. They have different hiking trails and stuff on site. So it's a really good place, again, to unwind and to get away from it all. So again, Costa Rica has everything from your, name brand, JW Marriott, Hyatt's, Four Seasons, all of the name brand hotels that to these out of the ordinary, small hotels that are on private islands. There's even like one of the last virgin rainforests in the world is in Costa Rica, and there's small little eco lodges there as well. So it can be whatever kind of experience you want to be, out of the box. Like, there is nothing cookie cutter about this. Every single itinerary that I design is completely based on what you want. And that's, with the help of your travel agent, we get it narrowed down to, first of all, Costa Rica, and then we really get it narrowed down to the hotel that's perfect for you with the perfect tours. So if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. I think Jim will be handling those if he sees any. And I'm done, Dominique.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Jim, I think I saw some questions, so you can go ahead and.
Yeah, we definitely have some stuff in the chat box tonight. So,
And I'm so sorry, I will cover the COVID entry requirements too before we go. I forgot about that.
Do you want to do that now before we get to the questions?
Yeah, so right now, and this changes constantly, and it is my rule that when I send out a quote, I attach the entry requirements that are current. So they've already changed 3 times since the country opened back up. So as of right now, there is no COVID test required to enter the country, which is great because that was keeping a lot of people from going because it was getting hard to get the test results back within 72 hours. You do have to have travel insurance when you enter the country, and you also have to have a specialized travel insurance. I can go more in depth with this with your travel agent and have it better explained, but you have to have COVID protection on your insurance before you enter the country. So for example, no, you don't need a test to enter the country, but if you were to get sick while you're there, they want to make sure that you have $50,000 worth of coverage in case you have any sort of medical expenses. And they also want to make sure that in case you have to be quarantined, you have insurance coverage that's going to cover that quarantine period. And we do have a way to help people get that. The only other thing that you have to do beyond that is fill out a health form, which is on, I send that to your travel agent before you leave, and then you're good to go. So those are the entry requirements as of today.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Well, I'm going to get to the questions. A lot of them had to do with air and flights.
Yeah.
Ginny, so if you can go over that. The first question is whether it's a nonstop flight. I realize that you send people from all over the country. So what would be the hubs or the areas where they could get a nonstop flight? Most of our people are here in California and definitely in the San Francisco Bay Area. Are there nonstops from San Francisco area? Or
there used to be. So I'm going to say it like there used to be. I haven't sold airfare in over a year, but there used to be direct Sansa flights from San Francisco. And I want to say American had a couple of flights from San Francisco, but that was pre-COVID. So if they don't have them now, then they will have them soon, because there were nonstop flights from the San Francisco area.
Okay, so it could be a direct flight. And the difference, for somebody asked about a direct or nonstop, a direct flight does make a stop with no change of planes, whereas a nonstop is exactly
I mean nonstop. There were nonstop flights from San Francisco.
Okay, the Eco Spa. Somebody had mentioned something about the services that are phenomenal at the El Silencio.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that particular property?
Yeah, that was the second hotel I showed you. It was the little greenhouse, and then there was a yoga platform, and it had all the activities on site. And the El Silencio, they have hiking trails, and that is the one where I've been there. I haven't been to the spa because I chose to do yoga, but every single person that I was with that went to the spa said it was the best spa they've ever been to. Any people that I have sent there, any guests that I've had go there, they all come back and tell me that the spa is fantastic. So I don't know what they do there, but people absolutely love the spa services that they get.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
We also had a question. Is it LGBTQ friendly?
100%. So if the gays don't own it, they run it, they manage it, or they work there, or their family does. So I know lots and lots of LGBTQ people in Costa Rica. I work with a lot. I have always worked with a lot, and there are a lot in the tourism industry. So I don't ever feel uncomfortable. Even before, say, gay marriage was legalized here, I never felt uncomfortable sending anyone to Costa Rica just because I knew that they would be safe.
Very good. We like that. Okay. Obviously, it's a very diverse country, and you got lots of things to do. Do you have like a recommended time frame to, let's say, spend in the rainforest area, in the activity area, and maybe on the beaches if people were looking to do both?
So most of the time people go into the jungle for 3 nights, and then they'll go to the beach for 4. And the only reason we would flip flop that and do 4 in the jungle and 3 at the beach is if they are super active. So if you have somebody who wants to do a chocolate tour, they want to go whitewater rafting and they want to do a zip line, and I also want to go to the spa, then you want to put them in the jungle longer. But most of the time it's 3 in the jungle, 4 at the beach. And that, unless I'm, and that's normally I do 7-night trips. Sometimes I'll get 8 or 9 nights, depending on, if it's a spring break or if someone's actually traveling on a honeymoon or if they're retired. Sometimes I do month-long trips. It all depends on what people want. But again, norm is 7 nights.
Norm is 7. Okay, so that just answered the next question that I had coming down the list too. So normally 7 nights, 4 and 3 or 3 and 4, depending on the activity. And the country, at least on the map, doesn't look like it is very wide. You said you could see the oceans from the middle of the country.
Yeah, it's as big as West Virginia. So it's as big as West Virginia, and you can go from one coast to the other. I believe it'll take you, like, if you were to drive it would probably take you 8 hours. Just because of the infrastructure, not because of the mileage, but because of the infrastructure. But you could fly from one coast to the other in no time. And they do have, I forget to always mention that, they do have little domestic flights that go from most of the areas. And yeah, it was pretty cool to be in the middle of the country and be high enough up that I could see the ocean.
Okay, and then weather, times of year. I mean, it seems diverse. You said one area was flat and dry, and obviously jungles.
Yeah.
Obviously, imply that it's going to be a little wetter.
Yeah. So let's pretend it's a normal year. There's no El Niños. Okay. So it's a normal year. The best time to travel is going to be, let's say, Thanksgiving to Easter. And that's going to be the best time for weather. Or weather if you don't like a lot of rain. So for instance, if you travel during that time, things are going to get a little drier, but you're going to be able to go out and do more tours, and then you're not going to have an afternoon shower. So when it hits May, so let's do May and June, it's a real toss-up because I've been there in May and it was weird. It poured down rain in every location I went to the day before I got there. So it had rained, but then I get there, there's no rain. So I go to Arenal, and if it doesn't rain in Arenal, I always tell people, I don't care what time of year it is, if it doesn't rain in the rainforest, buy a lottery ticket because you'll at least get a small shower every day. It might be first thing in the morning, it might be in the afternoon, but you won't have constant downpours, lots of rain. You won't have anything like that as long as you're going from Thanksgiving to Easter. Okay. The only time you really have to worry about that is, say, September or October. Even in July and August, it's called Little Summer in Costa Rica because the rain. So you've got the rains that came in a little bit in May and June. It cools everything off. It makes everything starting to be green again because without the rain, everything is starting to turn brown. So now you've got the green and the lush tropicalness coming back. And then July and August hits and it's called Little Summer because the rains taper off. So you might have a shower in the morning, but then by the time you get to your tour, it stopped raining. Everything is fine. Then you come back to your hotel and you're about to go to the pool at, say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it sprinkles for 15 minutes. That's what I have always found when I travel in July and August, is that you might get a shower, but by the time you clean up your stuff and you're going to head inside, it's done. It's over with. You don't have to worry about it anymore. If you travel in September and October, good luck, God bless. It could be no rain, because we had a fam trip that went last year and they had absolutely no rain in October, which is unreal to me. But it could also, rain a lot. That's my long answer.
That's okay. We don't mind long answers. Oh, but I do appreciate it. If there's any other questions, if somebody could type it into the chat really quickly here. Otherwise, Janine, I do believe that that is it for the questions. And I do appreciate everybody showing up tonight online. I think we're back on Tuesday, and Tuesday, I believe, is Belize, if I'm not mistaken. Dominique, is that correct?
Tuesday is Belize with Janine again. She's going to take us through Belize.
Yes.
Well,
So
Janine,
I think everyone should know that Janine's with Memorable Costa Rica, and they are one of our preferred suppliers to Costa Rica. Every client that I have sent to Costa Rica with this company has come back and has been extremely happy. We can tailor make any itinerary. Of course, tonight we went over the whole country, but you know, on average, people usually visit 2-3 places tops.
Right.
And like she said, 7 days, sometimes 10 days, depending on, you know, because the flight is pretty long from San Francisco. And it's not that it's just long, it's weird timing. You get in, you know, different, like sometimes it's a red eye and you get in early in the morning and things like that. So, but it is, you know, we can definitely tailor something to exactly what you want.
I just thought of something, actually. One last question. Time zone. What time zone is it in?
Central. So right now it is 7:16 there.
Okay, all right. So it's just like flying to the middle of the country. Perfect.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I think that's it for the questions at this stage of the game. Janine, thank you very much for tonight. And we look forward to hearing from you again on Tuesday.
Okay.
Dominique, we'll turn it back over to you and let you wrap it up.
Thank you. I think that's it. We're all set. We'll see everybody on Tuesday. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.